So today I'm going to do a Spirit Halloween 2022 movie review. So I just saw this like 30 minutes ago and I want to do this while it's fresh on my mind. This will probably be premiered like the day after. But yeah. So I saw the Spirit Halloween movie. So the first thing we're going to do is... Okay, so we're going to divide this into 4 sections. First section is how good it is. So, like bad, good, mid, Second thing is, what are the best parts about it? Best scenes. Best scenes also means spoilers. So, yeah. And, section 3 will be like, was it cheesy, scary, since it's a horror movie. I wouldn't really say it's a horror movie, but I'd say it's probably about PG-13. Though there were a lot of little kids in there, so it's okay. I'm gonna just say E for everyone. And fourth thing is, well, overall rating out of 10. So yeah. All right. So the first thing is, was it good or bad? It was pretty good, okay? Like, it's not the best movie of all time. Best movie of all time, I had to go to It, the new It. I didn't really like the old It, but that's not the movie we're talking about. Spirit Halloween movie, it was pretty good. Like, is it my top 5 movies of all time? No. Is it my top 10? Maybe. Top 20, yeah. But... like, it was just, like, good overall. I was expecting it to be so bad that it was good. It wasn't so bad that it was good. It was so good that it was good. Like, yeah. And, yeah, so for the first part, I'd say good. So the next thing is, like, scenes and twists that were in the movie. So, like, the best scenes and twists, basically. So, I'm going to say 3. I'm going to go from 3 to 1 here on my favorite scenes and twists. So, number 3. Okay, let me think actually about what my favorite scenes are. I know what my number 1 is, but... I don't know if I can come up with 3 scenes, because pretty good scenes. But I already know my number 1. Okay. Yeah, I have an idea. Okay, so number 3 is actually at the beginning when Alec Windsor was first introduced. This will contain spoilers if you've already made it up to this point. But yeah, so when that girl, he's like trying to get the land or whatever, the one witch said this, so this one's also a twist and scene, but like this girl and her family or whatever it was, I forget what exactly the building and land was, but this girl that we thought was just trying to protect her land is actually a witch, but that kind of went out of her favor because the land was kind of destroyed to build a Toys R Us. At least that's what I understood. If there's anything better, like that make more sense, tell me. But I think I have the general idea of the scene. Number 2 has to be at the very end. The reason I put it at number 2 is because number 1 was awesome. But number 2, I had to go at the end when Grandma G turned out to be the little girl from the beginning. That was insane. And she brought Alec Windsor back from his rest. And that either means Spirit Halloween movie, the sequel, or Spirit Halloween, the video game. Hoping for the video game because that would be a lot better than a sequel. But yeah. Yeah, but that scene was just a big twist, and it blew my mind. I was like, wow. So, yeah. And my number one scene, if you've seen the movie, which if you made it to this point, you hopefully have, I think you probably know what's coming, is when Bo lit Nightcrawler on fire. That was insane. Because earlier in the movie, he was like, let's use bug spray. And they're like, what are you going to use for bug? What are you going to do bug spray with? And he's like, you have a better idea? 1,000? Yeah, I don't think you had a better idea because, you burned one of Alec Windsor's things. So, yeah. And, yeah, so burning Nightcrawler was definitely my favorite scene in the movie. Can't believe they showed it in the trailer. The original 5-minute trailer at Flagship. But yeah. I'd say that was definitely the best scene. So, yeah. And for the final or third section was it cheesy or scary? So, I was expecting it to have a lot of cheesy elements. Did it? Not really. But it was not. I wouldn't say it was scary either. I mean, it probably was a little scary, but it wasn't like too bad. I think a little kid would get scared, but anybody over the age of 3, I think is fine. So, yeah. And for overall rating out of 10, I'm thinking 8. I'm thinking 7.5 and 8.5 or 8. I'm going to go 8 since I'm thinking 7.5 or 8.5. And 8 is in the middle of that, so yeah. So overall, an 8 out of 10. That is pretty good for this movie, I'd say. But yeah. And I guess we're out of 5th section, bonus features. So something I did a lot was, if you are really into Spirit, you go every other day or so, maybe even on a free day. You notice some items. I noticed in, I think it was Carson's room, or it was either Carson or Jake. I kept getting those two mixed up. But in either one of those rooms, I saw the vintage mummy and the vintage, I think it was vampire. But I recognized a lot of masks and stuff. So yeah, and you're like, oh, that's prop box, Evelyn Lee Chariot, So you can recognize things. I know Jim Hunt said that in his review, and I agree. And I was actually there. So the 5 main props that Alec Windsor used were Nightcrawler, Mr. Dark, Buzzsaw, Zuldrana, and Teddykins of Terror, which we'll get to. But Nightcrawler, like I said, was amazing. Nightcrawler scene was absolutely amazing. Like I said, getting lit on fire. And yeah, Bo did great there. And then Mr. Dark was hilarious, okay? Mr. Dark was kind of funny. I mean, he was just kind of walking around the store. It was just hilarious. So, yeah. And Buzzsaw was a kind of funny scene where he was stuck as another one, the Teddykins of Terror, and he couldn't get in, so he had to use Buzzsaw to get in. So he used the hammer, but thing is, he saw the kids go into the latch of the cave, and he's kind of reaching, he's like, I need one with hands, which led to the Nightcrawler scene. So yeah, Zuldrana wasn't used as much as I thought it would, but it did kind of get me. This movie got me a few times with Jumping Spider, which is pretty embarrassing, but yeah. But yeah, Zuldrana, the fortune teller, when she popped out of the glass, that spooked me for a sec. That was like, oh, whoa, okay. Move on to the next thing, And, yeah. So that's all that thing did. It was kind of creepy. But yeah, and the Teddykins of Terror wasn't an actual animatronic. It was more of just a stuffed big bear. Yeah. So, yeah, and then, yeah. And then that led to the Nightcrawler scene because he was trying to get in with Teddykins of Terror. But he had to get bust off, and he had to go to Nightcrawler, and then fire. Yeah. So, yeah. There wasn't too many, side stories. I think there was one in the beginning, and there was one later on, so they kind of had a side story the whole time. Because in the beginning, it was Kate, who was trying to find the boys, Carson, Jake, and Bo, and she couldn't find them at any of the friend's house until she looked at Jake's social media, and she saw that they were spending the night there, so she got in through the roof, which was a horrible idea. And, yeah, then she got possessed, which was pretty cool when she was, hanging. That was wow, what's going to happen? Because there was only, 2 minutes left when that happened. So that was, the end. The final big battle scene. So, yeah. And then later on, you had the mom who did pretty much everything that Kate did, but didn't get in the store. She kind of just looked outside as the lights went crazy. So, yeah. So, I think that's also some of my favorite characters were Bo, just for the Nightcrawler scene. Carson was alright in the beginning, but then at the end he was, mad at Jake. I think it might have been backwards, I don't know. And Jake, it might have been Carson, but Jake, in the beginning, he was, rude to his sister. Come on, man. And, yeah. But he turned out to be a pretty good character. And I think it was Jake. Yeah, Jake, who ended up having to sacrifice the last thing his dad gave him, or one of the last things his dad gave him, in order to defeat Alec Windsor. So, in the end, he ended up good, but also in the end, he didn't really need to sacrifice his book. Because, Bo's grandma had to just bring Windsor back. So, yeah. And, yeah, Grandma G was so creepy. Honestly, probably one of the scarier parts of the movie. So, yeah. And Bo was awesome. Carson and Jake were mid. Kate was okay. And everyone else was pretty much a side character. Alec Windsor was also pretty good. So, yeah. That's going to do it for today's video. Make sure to leave a thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Let me never miss a video. Share with your friends and family. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Goodbye.